Hello, I'm Kimberley Dondo, Digital Content Manager, and welcome to In Conversation With, the podcast series that delves into the world of financial services and brings you face to face with some of the most notable figures in the industry. Listen as we discuss topics that are currently facing the industry and hear from visionary CEOs to disruptive innovators as we bring you a diverse array of voices and perspectives. We'll explore the challenges they faced, the lessons they've learned, and the insights they have to share about the ever-evolving landscape of financial services. Hello and welcome to In Conversation With. I'm Kimberley Dondo, and in today's episode, I'm joined by Symon Stickney, CEO at Collidr. Thank you for joining me today, Symon.
Hi, good to see you, Kimberley.
So could you give us a bit of a background into yourself and Collidr as a whole?
Yeah, so I'm Symon, the founder of Collidr. I set up Collidr 15 years ago, and the idea is we're designed to bring a tech-enabled investment management capability to help financial advisors deliver exceptional investment outcomes to their clients. So we've been going for a while, and we do that through combining cutting-edge machine learning technology with human expertise in a process that we call quantamental. And we use that process to deliver custom to ready-made MPS, portfolio reporting, content generation, risk management, and actually our technology standalone as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Our goal is, our goal has always been to empower advisors with the tools and insights they need to stay ahead in an increasingly complex marketplace.
Yeah. And it is really complex. And I think the topic for today is MPS the edge of chaos? And edge of chaos is quite a bold way to frame model portfolio service. So what's driving this sense of urgency in the UK advisor market right now?
Yeah, so we believe the edge of chaos is a really important way to think about the current landscape. It's where a lot of innovation and evolution takes place in an ecosystem. So MPS has become this important tool and service that helps advisory firms to evolve and embrace the change. So that urgency is driven from multiple factors. It's regulatory, so whether it's consumer duty or sustainable income reviews, etc. It's technological change, so the adoption rates of AI clearly having a huge impact in going, and increasingly so moving forwards. But it's also consumer preferences. It's how people want to interact with their advisor, with investments. And of course, you can never forget the market risks as well, right? So there's quite a few factors that are ultimately driving that sort of urgency in the advisor community to sort of look at how do we embrace this? How do we do something that helps our business?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And advisors are drowning in options. There's advisory models, off-the-shelf MPS, fully custom solutions. How do you cut through the noise to define what's right for your business as an advisor?
Yeah, and I think from our perspective, that's by very much taking a holistic solutions-based approach. There is no one right answer or one fit for everybody. I think the other key thing for us is advisors know their businesses best and will always know it better than we do. So taking that more consultative approach, listening to how a firm wants to work and what they think is key and what they need is really essential, especially for Collidr, where we are more of an investment as an infrastructure or an investment engine. We can effectively then design the appropriate solution to meet that firm's specific needs. And so it is that solutions-based approach that really drives us in kind of cutting through the noise.
Yeah. And some argue the sheer number of MPS providers is overwhelming. Is it too much choice that is the real issue, or is this just a red herring?
Yeah, can you ever really have too much choice? I would say competition is a good thing. You can never have too much. It's what spurs innovation. It's what raises standards. It's also what drives costs down. And so from our perspective, really the onus is on us to ensure how we really differentiate ourselves through having compelling value add propositions. We achieve this through partnership approach, technology, and a very high touch service level.
Mm-hmm. When you said is having too much choice ever an issue, I was thinking personally, someone who suffers with choice paralysis. Sometimes there can be such a thing as too much choice, but when you're able to filter through and find the right situation for you, it makes it easier. So when advisors face this chaos, what should their North Star performance, scalability, cost, or something less obvious? What should that be?
I think those that you mentioned are sort of like default minimum standards. Mm-hmm. I think the real key is service performance. That's the real difference maker in practice. So on the other side of selecting a partner, it can make or break a relationship if the service isn't meeting the expectations of the firm and the underlying investors. So I think firms really take a good look at how reporting, communication, content generation, access to the team, governance, and all those transparency points are achieved, because it's a performance across all those service areas that's really important. It's like the glue that holds it together. Mm-hmm. And so that's also something that's very important especially when things aren't going right, not just when it's convenient. I think advisors really come under a lot of strain when the service is lacking in periods where, whether you're underperforming or not is irrelevant. It's actually a question of, is the market volatile? Have clients got specific questions that need addressing? And so to feel supported by the service in those moments, actually in the live environment, is often cited as the most important thing.
Okay. And you've stressed that service is the differentiator. So beyond price and performance, what makes a partner indispensable to an advisor?
Yeah, it is that partnership mentality. And I guess, what do we mean by that? I think it's very akin to how advisors work with their clients. It's that becoming that trusted advisor. Mm-hmm. And I would say that when we've done our jobs very successfully, you end up in a position where we are actually in the room discussing other topics other than the service we provide for a firm. We will often be talking about the platforms. We'll be talking about other technology choices. We'll be talking about M&A. We'll be just talking about general business things. And it's those little things in conversation, the relationships you build and the trust you build inside that partnership, that often are like really massive difference makers when considering who you're going to partner with.
Mm-hmm. What hidden risks in MPS portfolios should even experienced advisors be scrutinizing more closely today?
That's a great question. When I founded Collidr 15 years ago, advisors told us they really wanted to move away from picking fund managers. Planning was their job. And so I think one of the hidden risks, and we already see it happening in the marketplace today, is that if advisors treat MPS like a product, and over time end up accruing a large number of managers on panel or on their list, they ironically end up being manager pickers again, which most advisors don't want to be, because then again, you're back to consuming all that resource and having to manage these massive lists and oversight of everything. It becomes very difficult. So the real discipline here is to ensure you don't have proposition creep. Mm-hmm, and that doesn't get in the way of the advice firm's success when using an MPS.
Okay. And technology is touted as the answer. I think there is not a day when we aren't talking about how technology can help a business, boost productivity and all that. But what should advisors actually look for to avoid just the shiny new object syndrome?
Yeah, you're looking for tech that can stand the test of time. And what I mean by that is probably looking beyond the technology you see. It's probably looking at the business behind it and the people involved. Do they have strong domain knowledge? Do they have a good user base in their ecosystem? And are they actually solving intelligent and complex problems? And have they focused on integrations and automation? Otherwise, there's a lot of tech out there that simply just makes a spreadsheet look pretty. And frankly, that isn't going to stand the test of time. So I think you need to be very careful with that. a good example of that for us, we just recently launched Noxy, which is our portfolio assistant technology, which is free for advisors. And that's giving firms the ability to fully automate fact sheet production and generate market commentary, all for free. And so that's something that we've developed in conjunction with all of our ecosystem. It's something that people are asking for us and want. And so we're bringing that to market to support advisors in exactly that, kind of adopting technologies that will genuinely solve the more difficult things.
Okay, great. And finally, Symon, is this chaos a temporary storm or the new normal? And how is Collidr helping advisors not just adapt, but lead?
Yeah, for us, this is definitely the new normal. And this is obviously a fast changing environment, but obviously the adoption rates of AI have shown us that this is going to be a structural change for our industry. But I think people shouldn't be afraid of that. They should be seeing that, as advisor firms in particular should see this as a massive opportunity to harness that chaos for their own benefit. Collidr's job in this is to make the future easier to implement today. And so I guess Noxy is a good example of that. It's bringing that automation, risk monitoring, fund ranking, portfolio health checks, all these kind of things that a firm has to do, bringing it all under one roof in a fully automated, very slick environment with integrations. It's our job is to sort of see that future, but kind of bring it to the now and make it accessible. And so, we're facilitating firms that want to go on that journey and take their firm to the next level.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for speaking with me today, Symon. This was a really great conversation.
Absolutely. My pleasure, Kimberley. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to In Conversation With. We do hope that you enjoyed it. Please do keep up to date with all our new releases via Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere else you get your podcasts from. You can also keep up to date with all our new content published on the Money Marketing website, as well as our print edition Money Marketing magazine. So make sure to subscribe. Follow us on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. See you next time.